Welcome to lesson 1.5. Today we're going to talk about solving inequalities. Only one vocab term today. It's set builder notation, and that's the way to write a solution set of an inequality. Okay, so it's going to look something like this, where we list the variable first, then we've got that little vertical line break, and then we write the inequality that we got as an answer. So here are the properties of inequalities. Go ahead and pause the video and get these written down before hitting play and continuing. So basically these properties work very similar to the properties of equations. Okay, so addition and subtraction properties are the same. As long as I add or subtract the same thing to both sides, I'm going to get an equivalent inequality. So if I have 2x plus 3 is less than 7, I can subtract 3 from both sides and get 2x is less than 4. Where it becomes different is when we multiply or divide. It breaks it up into positive and negative. If I have a positive number that I'm going to multiply or divide both sides by, then it's just like with the equations where I multiply both sides and then nothing else happens. So if I have 2x is less than 4, I can divide both sides by a positive 2 and get x is less than 2. It's when I have a negative number that I multiply or divide by is when things get a little different. When I multiply or divide by a negative number, I have to flip the inequality. So if I have negative 4x is less than 20, divide both sides by negative 4, I flip the inequality so it's not less than anymore, it's now greater than, and so I get x is greater than a negative 5. Solving a one-step inequality using addition or subtraction, I've got y is minus 6 is less than 3, so I need to add 6 to both sides, and I get that y is less than 9. Solution on a number line. Once I know what number I have, 9, you can always just put 9 in the middle and then put a few numbers on each side. Now when we're doing this, if it's less than or greater than, we're going to use an open circle. If it has the or equal to with it, we're going to use a filled in circle. Okay, so it'll be one of those two. Now with this one, it's less than 9, so I'm going to put an open circle at 9, and then everything to the left, or less than 9, is going to be part of our solution. So I'm going to have an arrow going off to where the numbers smaller than 9 are, which is to the left. And another way I can do that, if you look here and make the inequality into an arrow, I can see that it's going to point off to the left as well. So the next one here, we got 5w plus 3 is greater than 4w plus 9. Subtract 4w from both sides. I can also subtract 3 from both sides. 5w minus 4w is just 1w. Subtract 3, I get 6, so w is greater than 6. So on my number line again, I can just put 6 in the middle, a couple numbers bigger, a couple numbers smaller, and it's greater than, so it's an open circle, and if I make this into an arrow, it's going to point off to the right. So this is going to be my graph. Go ahead and pause the video, get an answer for the second one, and then hit play and see how you did. Alright, so to start out with, you should have subtracted 4x from both sides and add 3, giving me x is greater than 5. Okay, greater than, just like less than, has an open circle. And then if you'll notice, if you turn the inequality into an arrow, you're going to see that it points off to the right, so that's what we did on our number line. Okay, now we're going to use multiplication and division to solve. So I've got negative 4.2x is less than or equal to negative 29.4. Divide both sides by that negative 4.2. I get x and 7, but since I divided by a negative, this inequality has to be flipped. So now it's greater than or equal to 7. So on my number line, again, I can put my answer in the middle. A couple numbers bigger, a couple numbers smaller. Okay. I have the or equal to now, so now it's going to be a filled in circle, like so. and then if I turn my inequality into an arrow, you'll see that it points off to the right. Our next example, we've got negative 4x is greater than or equal to negative 24. Again, divide both sides by what's in front of the x. So I divide both sides by negative 4. I get x and 6. And again, dividing by that negative, I have to flip my inequality so that it becomes x is less than or equal to 6. So on my number line, put my answer in the middle. A couple numbers on each side. Alright, it's got the or equal to, so when I put the circle on, I want to fill in the circle. And then if I turn my inequality into an arrow, you'll see it points off to the left, so my answer should point off to the left as well. Go ahead and pause the video, solve this last one, and go ahead and hit play and see how you did. So for this last one, divide both sides by a negative 9.2, and you should get y is greater than 2.5. The inequality has to switch. And when I do the number line, since it doesn't have the or equal to, it's got an open circle. If I turn the inequality into an arrow, it goes off to the right. Solving multi-step equations. Okay. So I've got this equation, negative 4c is greater than 5c plus 58 is divided by 6. Okay. First thing I want to do is I want to get rid of that 6 on the bottom. So I multiply both sides by 6. On the left, I get negative 24c. On the right, the only thing that happens is that stuff cancels out. Okay. From there, subtract 5c from both sides. I get negative 29c is greater than 58. Divide both sides by a negative 29. And I get c and negative 2 divided by a negative, so I have to flip the inequality, so I get c is less than negative 2. Got my number line, put my answer in the middle, a couple numbers on each side. It's not or equal to, so I put an open circle. I turn my inequality into an arrow, and it tells me to point off to the left. Next one, I've got negative 6 times negative 4v plus 3, less than or equal to 2 times 10v plus 3. So I want to distribute this here. I get a positive 24v minus 18, less than or equal to 20v plus 6. Subtract the 20v over to the other side, add the 18, and we get 4v is less than or equal to 24, divide both sides by 4, and I get v is less than or equal to 6. Notice how I do not flip the inequality because I did not multiply or divide by a negative number. Bring in my number line, put my answer in the middle, a couple numbers on each side. Okay, it's got the or equal to, so I put a filled in circle on the number line, turn my inequality into an arrow, and it points off to the left. Go ahead and pause the video, solve this second one, and hit play and see how you did. Okay, so distributing, I get negative 15d plus 35. Let is greater than 6d plus 42. Subtract 6d from both sides and 35 from both sides, and we get negative 21d is greater than 7. Divide both sides by negative 21. I have to flip the inequality, and I get d is less than negative 1/3. Put that on my number line. Open circle because the inequality does not have the or equal to on it, and the arrow is pointing left. Okay, so now we've got word problems. We've got Enrique's company says Salim to advertise on Salim's website. Salim's website earns $15 a month plus $0.05 every time a visitor clicks on the advertisement. What is the least amount of clicks per month that he needs in order to earn $50 a month or more? Okay, so he gets 15 guaranteed, and he gets added to that 5 cents for every click. So X is going to be the number of clicks, and they want that to be at least $50. So this is how we set up our equation, and now we just have to solve for X. So we can subtract 15 from both sides. I get 0.05x greater than or equal to 35. Divide both sides by 0.05. And we get an answer of at least 700 clicks is needed to earn $50 or more every month. Go ahead and pause the video, solve this, or write in an inequality and solve it, and then hit play and see how you did. Okay, so the equation we should have came up with is 50 plus 0.25x is less than 70, so the $50 a month here, this is 25 cents for every minute she goes over, and it's got to be less than 70. Solving for x, we subtract 50 from both sides, divide both sides by 0.25, and we get an answer of she has to have less than 80 minutes beyond her free minutes to stay under $70.